67.
Now, are you a golfing man?
Well, I love the golf. I mean, see, golf, I suppose, has took the place. When you're someone like me, I did boxing for 27 years of my life. Then one day you wake up, you're not a fighter. Something has to take its place. Well, thank God I took up golf about a year or so just before I quit fighting, and that took the place of boxing. So I had something to concentrate on and to work at, which I do because I wasn't a natural at it. And yeah, now golf is my first love. I mean, I go all over the world playing golf. I love it. I play in all the pro-ams and slab-ams, and it's a good game. I love it, yeah.
Now, you were the first guy to win the Lonsdale belt 3 times, the first British chap. I mean, that's quite a accolade, isn't it?
Yes, when you think basically, my name would be in the record books. I suppose it was in the Guinness Book of Records. No other fighter ever won 3 Lonsdale belts outright, which I did do. So that'll always be in the record books for a time memorial. So yeah, I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
Now, the left hook was known as Henry's hammer. Who coined that phrase?
Well, I think George Whiting, or someone like that in the old days. Wally Barman, George Whiting, one of them newspapermen, they nicknamed it Henry's Hammer, So and it stuck ever since. And we had the aeronautical people from Farnborough came up and they did they had a special camera that takes about 4,000 frames a second, and they come out with all these statistics that my over 7 inches, the punch over 7 inches landed with 4.5 tons impact. It was 3 or 4 times quicker than the Saturn rocket. We got men onto the moon and this, that, and there was just so many different statistics. I thought, yeah, why didn't I knock them all out every time I fought them?
Now, what were what went through your mind? Because you knocked Cassius Clay down, and there was a bit of problem over the split glove in one fight.
Well, yeah, the 63 fight when I fought Ali before he was world champion, he went on then and won the world title the next fight after that. But what it was, I boxed him at the big Wembley Stadium in front of 40,000 people, and in the third round I had him on the deck, and at 5 the bell went. The timekeeper went and rang the bell at 5. He went back to his corner and he was in trouble then, and Angelo Dundee, who was his manager trainer, has openly admitted to me that he was in a bad way. And he said there was no way I could have revived him properly within like 50 seconds or what they had to revive him in. So he had to think of a commotion. So he just see the stitch on one of the gloves to stretch, and he just tore it open with a pair of scissors, which all trainers carry to cut bandage and tape. Called the referee over. The referee had to go to steward in charge. Had to send a guy to the dressing room to the chief whip to get another pair of gloves. By the time he got back, he'd had a 2.5-3 minute interval, which was a lifetime, for a fighter. And unfortunately, he was fully revived when he came out. I had a badly gashed eye in the first place, and so he hit me on the eye a couple of times. It started pumping blood. The referee then had to stop it, and that's it. That's basically what the controversy was all about. But Angelo Dundee openly admitted. He said to me there was no way I was going to revive him in less than 50 seconds. He said I had to do something like that to get him time to recover. Yeah.
When you go into the ring with a boxer like Clay or any of the other fighters, do you have a sort of, psych yourself up almost to a hatred before you start the fight?
Yeah, it's not so much hatred. I mean, I always think when fighters, when I had these silly sort of fights saying about, I want to kill you, I don't want to, I want to kill a fighter and this, that and that, I think, no, what do? You go, a lot of people don't realize, people say to me, why do you go away to train for the last 2 or 3 weeks for a big fight? People say to me, well, was it like to cut out the sex? And it's nothing to do like sex's name, because it's a proven thing that sex doesn't impair your performance in any sporting activity. No, the thing why fighters go away is to get mean, basically. When you go away, set up training camp for 4 or 5 weeks like I used to, all right, the first week it was a novelty, the second week, all right, you sort of stood it, but the third week you're getting sick and tired of it, and you're getting a bit edgy and you're getting a bit mean. You want to come back to the real world and live a normal life. But that's what we used to do, to get mean. See, my manager would say something to me on the first week or two, and it would go straight over my head. But in the third or fourth week, he don't have to say something, and I'd want to pick a fight with him. And that's the reason why. It's not the sexual thing, basically, what a lot of people think. And that's why I see. And that's where fighter has to go away to get mean, but you don't actually. I never hated any guy. I never said, I want to kill you, or I want to put you in hospital, or injure you or anything like that. No, I mean, I just got there to get me and wanted to win.
We were chatting with Henry, and I asked him what he thought about the standard of heavyweight boxing today.
Well, I'm a little bit disillusioned, to be honest, with the boxing game, the modern game, all told, to be honest. I mean, there's a lack of good heavyweights in the world today. I mean, if you look at guys like... all right, you still got to say Tyson's a good fighter. You look at Holyfield, he's a good fighter. You look at Lennox Lewis, he's a good fighter. Then you look at the others and you think, well, who is it? I mean, all right, Aki Wanda, you can't really get overexcited with Aki Wanda. I love watching him the last time out. If you look at Herbie Hyde, well, he's improved fractionally, but, you wouldn't say, oh, it was the greatest thing on two legs we've seen. There's a lack of good heavyweights in the world today, and there's a lack of good fighters, I think, all over. I mean, you have got good fighters. I mean, not saying them. Prince Nassim is, the kid has got a lot of talent. There's one or two things what he does in the ring I don't like, and I've only criticised him over that, but I've never criticised him over his ability. He hits when he punches, he hits the guys, they stayed it, and it's good. But they still got, I think, put him in with good opponents. They're letting him fight like second-rate, third-rate fighters. They're not getting top-class fighters, and they're cheating the public a little bit. See, what promoters and boxing is doing now is killing the game. They're cheating the public. When big fights, when people are paying good money, and they're paying now like 150 quid for ringside seats here in America, they're paying $1,500 for ringside seats, and a fight goes a round and a half or a minute and a half in the first round, and it's all over. You're being cheated. There's something wrong. Yeah. Money is totally different to when the years I was boxing. See, I mean, I was the highest paid British boxer for a good few years until, as I say, the silly money came into the game. I mean, the biggest purse I got was worth something like 70 odd thousand when I fought Ali for the world title in '66. That was good money in them days. But then just after that, then you started guys like Bagman and all them and Bruno, they're getting like, 4, 5, 600, 700,000 quid for £1 million for fights. I mean, that was total. That was 3, 4, 5 times as much as I ever earned in a fight. But no, I mean, good luck. But I'm saying good luck to the fighters who are getting that money. But the only thing I ever say is give value for money. Give value, and that's what a lot of them are not. I mean, if you look at someone like Aki Wanda, who got £1 million for that last fight and was disqualified in the third round or fifth round by holding the claiming all the time, and they didn't fine him, and he got his £1 million. I mean, Christ, he don't care if he boxes again. He can live off that and the interest of that the rest of his life. I mean, it's crazy.
Now, obviously, the Tyson thing still fresh in our memory with the Evander Holyfield incident. As a boxer, I mean, what's your views when that happens? Things like that.
It's diabolical. I mean, you can't. How can you condone boxing? How can you justify boxing when one fighter does that to another fighter? I mean, how can you justify that to the BMA or the British Medical Association or other people? You can't. And they're making bullets. That's why I'm saying they're killing the game. They're killing boxing. They're making bullets for the anti-boxing people to fire at you, and that's what they're doing. They're killing the game. And if it had been me or an English person or a European fighter had done that, and it was in Europe, that person would have been banned for the rest of his life in boxing. But Tyson won't. I mean, see, Don King has got a lot of sway out there. I mean, he earns a lot of money from King. He manages Tyson. He's earning millions. He won't let them ban him for life. So he'll get a rap on the knuckles for a year or so, and then next year he'll get his licence back.
Okay, let's move away from boxing, and everyone remembers you for the Brute and the famous phrase.
The old Brute, yeah, splash it all over. Yeah. Well, it's funny, yeah, and when you think, it's funny catchphrases which catch on, that's why they come a catchphrase. I only ever said that in one Brute advert, splash it all over. I only actually ever said them words once, and it's stuck, and it's lovely, and the kids, even some kids still come and say, splash it all over, Henry. And I advertised Brute for, near enough 20 years. It was only a couple of years ago when the contract ended and Fabergé's sold out to Unilever, and Unilever own them now, but it wasn't. It's not the same as when I was doing the advertising. But we had some good years with them, and I got to know a lot of good people in America. I got to know Cary Grant very well because Cary was all involved with Brute in America, and I got to know him for the last 12 years of his life. He was a lovely guy, and it was lovely. I enjoyed doing it. Yeah.
Now, what are you actually up to now? What are you doing? You're doing a lot of promotional work, aren't you?
Yeah, I do a lot of promotional things. I mean, I do things like this. I open, golf courses. We open, you name it. I've opened it, betting shops. All sorts of shops, supermarkets, you name it. I've done it over the years and still doing it. I do a lot of PR, one or two PR work, big PR work, companies in the UK, which is nice, keeps you in the public eye. I still do a little bit of, the TV and, radio work. And the things I do a lot of now is after dinner and after lunch speaking and one-man shows, so I've been doing one or two of them. So it's a good, interesting and varied life. You don't get bored, so it's great, yeah. And I'm getting paid for it.
So you're basically doing whatever you want now. You're pleasing yourself and taking the things you enjoy.
You pick and choose what you want to do. I'm in the fortunate position that I can do that. Yeah. I don't have to do everything that comes in. If I think, it clashes with saying I've got something on early tomorrow, so I don't want to do it tonight, I don't do it. I can pick and choose now, which is, thank God, a marvellous way to be.
When you were in the boxing game, you were in a car with some. I think it's something you've used on one of your after-dinner speeches. The four big guys, yourself and three other big guys in a car, and a little old boy on a bike. Can you tell us that story?
Well, what it was me, my brother, and my manager, Jim Wicks. He took us out to lunch on our birthday, Jim Wicks. And I said to Jim after, I said, well, jump in the car, Jim, and I'll run you home. Now, when we got to the top of his turning, it was a typical sort of summer's day. It was piddling down the rain and blowing a gale. And there was a guy on a push bike in front of me. And he was cycling away like mad, getting anywhere quick. So I thought, I've got plenty of time to overtake him. That's what I did out. I pulled in, and I stopped. And as soon as I stopped, Wallopy hits me up the backside over. He went in a dirty great pun, and he's laying on the floor like a drowned rat. So I just stayed in the car, way on the side window, and I stuck my head out and said, sorry, mate. And as I've said it, he's got up, he was right annoyed, and he's given me a backhander through the window. Now, I got out a bit quick, not to get aggressive with him, but I just want to, defend myself, because he was going to give me another one. So I get out a bit quick. Now, I was 6'2" in them days and 14 stone. Brother George is about 6'2.5" and about 14.5 stone. And Jim Wicks gets out the back of the car, who was 17 stone. And this fella stood up, and he was about 5'0". He was about 6 stone wringing wet. And he looked me straight in the face. He said, you feel bleeding brave just because there's three of you, And I said, get away, you chickies.
Henry Cooper live on Saturday there at the opening of the Fairways Golf Course at the Orchards Holiday Village, and what a wonderful chap he was. And thank you all to the crew at the Orchards for all their help with that interview.
Mellow 1557